You've just entered the No Delusion Zone. I'm David Debato. Today is the newest edition of what I call Scumbag of the Week. And as always, there was very stiff competition for the award. But I had to go through all of the competitors and size them all up and finally come to a decision, a consensus among these other lesser scumbags. Although many of them did deserve the award, I have to say. But in the end, one outshone them all. And he richly deserves this award. So, without further ado, let me not so proudly introduce Sergei Shoigu, who is this week's Scumbag of the Week. Sergei Shoigu is the former Minister of Defense for Vladimir Putin in Russia. Since he got fired a few months ago after his disgraceful performance in Ukraine, Shoigu has been made the Secretary of the Defense Council, another position he so richly does not deserve since he has absolutely no experience in the defense business. But I guess that's par for the course in Russia. I'm sure he's made quite a few under the table deals with Putin and his cronies to deserve the position that he's in. But why is Sergei Shoigu, the scumbag of the week? Well, I'll tell you. Because a few days ago, the old secretary of the Defense Council announced that Russia is not prepared to negotiate with Ukraine. Why? Because they have threatened the Russian nuclear power plant in the Kursk Oblast. And since the nuclear power plant was being threatened with being occupied by Ukrainian forces, there was, of course, no way that Russia could ever negotiate with them because, after all, they're terrorists, and Russia doesn't negotiate with terrorists. And also, Putin had said previously that he wouldn't negotiate with Ukraine as long as they had forces in the Kursk Oblast. He couldn't tolerate foreign forces in his country. Of course, he didn't mention that Russian forces had been in Ukraine for the last 2.5 years, processing and engaging in a genocidal war against the Ukrainians. Of course not. No, not at all. He also failed to mention the terroristic and murderous acts of the Russian military in the Ukraine. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Shoigu, the new crowned scumbag of the week, put it out that they're just not going to talk to Zelensky. They're not going to talk to any negotiators from Ukraine until they withdraw all their forces from Kursk. And I pray they don't do that. For right now, the news is that Ukraine is actually going to stay in Kursk, and they're going to fortify their positions. In fact, as soon as they get the okay, which I expect any hour, to use the longer range missiles that they have in their possessions, like ATACMS and HIMARS and Storm Shadow and so forth, they're going to launch attacks further into Russia, hopefully as far as, well, eventually as far as Moscow. Not right now, but soon. So, to Secretary Shoigu, scumbag of the week, blank you. You've earned this award. And as I said earlier, you inched out several others that I could mention that also richly deserve this award, and they probably will be honored in the next few weeks. But for this week, Sergei, it's all yours. May you burn in hell. And that's all for this week's edition of Scumbag of the Week. And as always, please take care, stay safe, and by all means, stay sane.